Hi, everyone. Good Wednesday morning to you. It is finally the middle portion of this week. Hump day. For those who, work Monday through Friday, of course. Yeah, it's quiet outside. So, over the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect today. Our next Clipper system, the highlights of that. We'll talk snowfall amounts, impacts, timing, all of the things you need to know here for Thursday and Friday, and then preview the weekend, and then briefly touch on next week. There are going to be some changes here for next week. Okay, so we'll start off with how it looks outside. But in the meantime, comment below, let us know. How's your day going? Are you looking forward to anything? Any big projects you're working on? Share some of your awesome life things that are going on for you here below this post. Yeah. All right, let's get right on into it. Here we go. This is outside of the station. We have a little bit of fog that's formed there this morning, but most areas have started off with mostly clear skies during the overnight hours, and that's allowed temperatures to dip down into the teens below zero in some areas. So a little chill in the air. Kicking off this Wednesday morning. Some fog there outside of the station in Nagani Township. Otherwise, mostly clear for many areas. 12 below at Iron River. We still are hovering in the teens along some of our shorelines. Copper Harbor is still kind of at 18, 17 over at Manistee. Okay, so today is going to be a nice day overall. We're expecting a pretty typical February day for us, okay? So make sure you're taking advantage of some of the sunshine that we'll have out there today. And the quiet weather, relatively quiet weather. We're looking at a light wind out of the west today. We've seen the lake effect snow machine shut down. We don't really have that prominent northwest flow now, and today it's light out of the west. Our next clipper comes in as we head through tomorrow. I've been telling everybody about it, and it looks like it's going to bring in multiple rounds of some snow. But in the meantime, today, take advantage of the sun. We will have clouds increasing later on in the afternoon. We're topping off near seasonal ranges in the lower 20s today. Not bad at all. Tonight we have the all-nighter over at Michigan Tech University, Winter Carnival, and they're going to be dealing with some snow. But, at least it's not extremely cold out there for the overnight. We're not going to see some strong winds or anything like that. It's going to be a light wind out of the southwest with temperatures kind of slowly increasing during the overnight into the morning hours. As that snow moves in, we're going to see relatively milder air move in also. This is ahead of a warm front. Usually when you have a clipper system and a warm front comes in, you have a warmer air mass that moves in, and we tend to see slightly warmer conditions, and of course behind it, the cold air, that kind of a thing. It's a rinse and repeat situation that we deal with every single year in the winter months, right? So, not bad for those kids who are going to be outside finishing their final touches on their snow sculptures or snow statues. So, it'll be a really good one for them. Okay, let's talk about that snow, because those students, they're going to be, finishing up their final touches with their snow statues and sculptures with some light snow out there. And in fact, it starts in the western UP initially, and then it becomes widespread. So here's what you need to know. We'll break it down per day. Make it real simple here. Here's your Thursday, tomorrow. All right, first round of snow comes in tonight, and it becomes widespread by tomorrow morning. The morning commute is going to be snowy. We're looking at widespread light snow. It's nothing that, we're not used to, but of course, it'll create some slippery and some snowy road conditions out there that you should be aware of. All right, that's day one for part one of that clipper system. Part two, impacts coming in for Friday. We have a second round of snowfall that comes in for tomorrow night into Friday morning, and some impacts kind of linger into Friday afternoon. So the second round of snow followed by lake effect snow. I think the big difference for Friday is coverage of snowfall is not going to be as widespread as the initial round. And the other big thing is that, winds are going to become a little bit stronger on Friday. So that'll be a little bit problematic with some blowing snow and reduced visibility at times, okay? Depending on where you're at, northwest flow forms. All right, so I'm going to walk you through it. First off today, not much happening. Enjoy that nice break. Here's that first round of snow coming in midnight through the morning hours. This is 5 a.m. By that point in time, we're kind of still right around 20 degrees. Some teens out there. drive through some slippery, snowy conditions out there, so keep that in mind. Slow it down as you get going for work, taking the kids to school. By about 9 a.m., certainly by about midday, that swath moves on out. We're expecting a warmer day tomorrow because that warm front's coming in. So the big swath of snow comes before the warm front. All right. So by mid-afternoon, there are going to be some areas, I'm going to slow it down here, that will be flirting with the freezing mark in the western UP. This is about tomorrow evening, 7:30. Upper 20s, some low 30s in the far west end. We actually kind of stay above normal for the overnight hours going into Friday morning with this second round of snow coming in. There it is. I mentioned coverage doesn't look to be as widespread for that overnight period into Friday morning, but then the lake effect kicks up behind that along our northwest wind belts throughout the day on Friday. So Friday morning, one thing I want to actually make sure that you are aware of and point this out to you is that you might head out the door Friday morning and it doesn't feel terrible outside just yet. We'll have our highs actually happening in the morning on Friday. The front clears and temperatures decrease throughout the day. So it's going to be a big difference. Progressively colder throughout the day. This is 4 p.m. Many areas in the teens and single numbers. So, yeah. There's that. Okay. The other thing I did mention is the wind component for Friday. So, not only is it going to become colder, but we also have the winds ramping up behind that cold front. So, if you're near Lake Superior, I think that's where the area of most concern will be at for Friday for blowing snow and maybe some poor visibility at times. I'm going to show you the wind threat here. Okay, so this is Friday morning, early in the morning. By about 9 a.m., we have gusts ranging 25 to around 35 miles per hour. Not the worst, you know. As the day progresses by midday, we have ranges of 35 to 40 miles per hour out of the north. And then it kind of stays that way for Friday afternoon into the evening. We are expecting winds to weaken Friday evening into Friday night. So we're not really going to be dealing with those strong winds on Saturday. Basically, the threat from winds will come to an end Friday night. And then we're in for a rather decent weekend. Not a bad weekend. But again, it's that wind that'll be a little bit more, cause a little bit more hazardous conditions on Friday. So just be aware of that. It's not like it's unheard of for us, right? Just want to make sure that you guys are all well prepared for that. Let's talk snowfall. Okay, so the first round of snowfall, the first one that comes in tonight through tomorrow morning, quick bout of 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. And then when we add on that second round and some additional lake effect snow, that's where we start to exceed 3 inches. Here it is. This is what we're looking at. So I put more of about 2 to 4 inches in the southern UP for the west and the east, and ranging 4 to 6 in the northwest and the northeast, because when you add that lake effect snow component, then you start to see some of the numbers increase in those typical areas that get the lake effect snow along the northwest wind belts. All right. So, snowfall. I'm going to talk about ice cover here briefly, a pattern switch for next week that will be impacting ice cover along the Great Lakes and things that you should be aware of coming in, next week on the long haul. Important to know for our folks who like to be outside recreating. Okay. Moving on to that, but first a little recap of where we're at for snowfall for the season. We're doing really good, really healthy, especially those, lake effect prone areas over 2 inches of snow in the Keweenaw. In the northeast, over in Luce County, 153 near Tahquamenon Falls. Chatham's still kind of at around 125. I think we need to add a couple of inches here or there for Alger County and Chatham. But this is where we're thereabouts, give or take a few inches or so. We'll keep this updated for you guys here every single week, so you can see where we're shaping up here on a weekly basis. Okay, this is where we're at for ice concentration right now. It's actually decreased 33% along Lake Superior, 29% for Lake Michigan, 66% over in Lake Huron. And I'm sure you guys have heard of the little incident that happened earlier in the week over in Lower Harbor in Marquette, where somebody fell through the ice there. Luckily, they're all good. But bringing in some concerns because, now the ice has become unstable here over the past couple of days and will continue to become unstable basically into next week because there's going to be a pattern change that's going to cause a warm up for a few days and not just 20s. We're talking about 30s for a warm up. So we could potentially be losing some snow and some ice cover. So here it is. Here's what you need to know. There's that. Here are the highlights for next week. We do have some warmer days, above normal temperatures likely Monday, Tuesday, potentially into Wednesday. There's probably going to be some thawing action happening along our shorelines with that ice cover, and not just that, but some interior lakes might become maybe a little bit more unstable. So make sure you know that before you head out on any kind of ice that the thickness is really good. So in the meantime, though, we recommend that you stay off of the ice with this setup happening. Here's the jet stream flow. I'm showing you this because this is why we're going to have that thawing pattern, warmer air ridge moves in for next week. It's not going to sit over us for too long, but yeah, it's going to hang around for just a few days. Monday through basically Wednesday is what I'm looking at. I didn't load that graphic. Here it is. Okay, this is previewing temperatures for next week. This is next Monday with highs for the most part in the mid 30s, low to mid 30s. There might be a couple of areas that be a little bit higher than that. That's Monday. Here's Tuesday, similar ranges, low to mid 30s. Here's a look at next Wednesday. So that was Tuesday. This is Wednesday. We're still above the normal, but in the 20s. The normal's 22, still likely going to have a little thawing action happening on Wednesday. Okay, so yeah, those are the highlights. That's what you need to know about what's happening with the next Clipper system. And next week, that could be a little concerning. I really hope you guys have a really great day. Take advantage of the relatively quiet and nice conditions out there today. All right, I will be back here on Friday morning with another First Alert Weather Extra to get you going for Super Bowl weekend. See ya.